Boris has all of the idiosyncrasy, and he has all of the bluster and character.
Hello. How are you all?
Good, thank you. But before we go any further, we have a Wonderbirds competition. There is still time to enter, and all you have to do is like and subscribe to us on YouTube.
And like and follow us on Facebook.
And please follow us on Twitter, and don't forget to tweet.
And also, of course, don't forget Instagram. Now, girls, can you tell everybody again what they get in this competition? It's so exciting.
Oh, absolutely. Wonderful wine from Wines with Stories.
Very important.
Hydrate.
Gorgeous cheeses from Castelli.
Like that.
Yeah, and tea, granola, and hot chocolate drink from Jai Tea.
Yes, and for 4 people, a glamping weekend by Experience Freedom. Now, we all need an experience right now, and we all need freedom. And I've actually been glamping myself. I've actually been glamping.
How was it?
It's very exciting. It would have been exciting had I had some really gorgeous man with me, you know, a lover of some kind. I don't even know what that is anymore. It's been so long. But that's exciting because you're under this kind of canopy and you can light a little fire in it, and it's just really, really gorgeous and sexy and exciting.
Can I tell you a very quick story about camping? I once went camping, only once in my life, with my kids when they were little in Cornwall. We were in this tiny tent, and it wasn't my first choice. As a student, I've slept on the floor. I don't need to go and do it again as an adult. But anyway, I was camping, and in the morning I woke up and I could hear the crackle of what I thought was a fire and perhaps breakfast being cooked. And I dozed, and I thought, this is so lovely. And then I suddenly heard the words, fire, fire. The rubbish chute was on fire. I went into a caravan straight after that. No more tents, thank you. There, that was my camping.
No, but that's tents, you see. That's when you lie on the floor.
I know, dear.
That's a very different thing to glamping. You have lovely beds and lovely linen and everything. I wouldn't go tenting at all.
No, dear.
Sherrie,
I just wear them now.
You look so yellow today and so beautiful.
Yellow.
Very yellow, very beautiful. My daughter Kira would never wear yellow as a child because she was afraid she'd look like a flower and she'd get stung by a bee.
Oh, it's true. It is true, actually. If you wear a yellow, all the bees and all the wasps and all the little midges come and sit on you.
Do they?
Yes, it's absolutely true on a hot
Sherrie has
sunny day.
all these stories, you see. Have you not noticed about Sherrie's special stories, that the little things that live in bananas? I mean, actually, Sherrie, I would really like to have been one of your children, that's for sure, because I would have been terrified of everything. I'd never have eaten a banana. I'd never had my ears pierced.
And do you know, when I was very, very young, when I was about 10, because I've always written children's stories, and they're all a bit balmy, to be honest. But one was about a young family that lived under my floorboards in my bedroom, and they had these terrible rows, and one child would run away and one child would be missing, and of course the burrowers is what it was, really. But it was really quite extraordinary, and I could see them coming up from the floorboards and the children running away with suitcases and getting on trains. My mother used to think I'd got a very strange brain, and I have. But so when I got children of my own, I used to tell them all these terrible stories about living. Have
they all been in therapy?
Yes, and somebody would come and they would batten the floorboard down so the children couldn't get out. That's terrible.
Yes,
no wonder I have nightmares.
I have to tell you, Sherrie, I've read your books, but not all of them, not the children's ones, but I reckon, because you're a fabulous writer, and I reckon that it really enhanced their childhood, because I reckon that, you know, to have that sort of a parent to tell you those stories was exhilarating. I'd love that. That's fabulous.
Yeah, but the thing is that I would have agreed with you until she started telling the stories about pierced ears, and that was it.
Yes.
No, don't start again, Sherrie. I'm still worried about my ears.
No, I did. I've never had them pierced, so I obviously believed it.
Yeah, you obviously.
My friend pierced mine with a cork and a needle.
What?
Yeah, in 1972.
Oh,
Really? That was before I was born, Harriet.
Before you were born.
Again, I'm hearing a whining sound. Sorry, can't.
Yeah, no.
Anyway, I think we need to come on to our special guest today. Our special guest is one of the most talented people, I think, in this country. He is a genius. He is one of the most, well, possibly our leading impressionist and a most wonderful, great friend of all of us. Guys and gals, it's Jon Culshaw.
Yay!
Hello, Jon.
Oh,
Hi, Jon.
Welcome to the nest,
Jon.
Jon.
it is lovely to join you, to bring my chair up to the kitchen table and join you. Thank you for having me on the show.
So fantastic. It's so fantastic to see you. I am very lucky because I've known you for 475,000 years.
Oh, Benny Wonder. I think we first met in about 1996.
Yeah, we did.
With our mutual friend Kate Robbins, the wonderful Kate.
We met at a party and you were just coming to live in London, weren't you then, I think? Or were you?
I was just halfway north, halfway almost in London, yes.
What was your big break? What actually brought you to everyone's attention? Because we all knew you were brilliant and a genius, but what actually was the biggest break that you had, do you think?
My first job on television was Spitting Image.
Oh.
I was 24 at the time. This is about 1994, and I just sent in a cassette. Do you remember cassettes?
Wow.
Yes.
And I sent in a cassette of some voices at the time. There was John Major, that was one of them. Frank Bruno. Also, Chris Eubank was a very interesting character.
Brilliant.
Yeah, Telly Christian was another, you know, all those like mid-90s sort of characters, you know. And when Steve Coogan moved on from the show, it left a bit of a gap, and that was when I joined and Alistair McGowan joined. So yeah, the mid-90s, Spitting Image was my first TV job, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
So what is, Jon, I mean, this is a ridiculous question to ask an impressionist, but who is your favourite impression? Who do you love doing the most?
They change over time, with like stocks and shares, I suppose.
Yeah.
I think I like Professor Brian Cox because he's a very fascinating person, and he speaks in such a distinctive way
He does.
about his subject. So he's my favourite. Who else? I'm thinking of some of the favourite current ones. John Bishop has got one of those just unmistakable voices.
That's so like it.
When you do that on stage, you sort of pace around in the same rhythm as the words.
Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you? There must have been a time when you've come face to face with the people that are pilloried. How do you deal with that? What do they say anything? What's that like?
It's always the first few moments are usually quite nervous.
Yes.
You don't know whether they've taken the joke in a certain way. So you've got to just, there's a few, you go a bit apologetic and a bit nervous.
Who is the worst one, the most sort of sphincter clenching one that you've met and done?
I think there was a moment with Lord Sugar where it was a BAFTAs do around about 2006 or 7, something like that. And he was there, and from a distance, from many rows away in the auditorium, he did that apprentice point. He sort of went. He started to walk towards me. He started to sort of loom forward. And Nick Hewer was there as well. And he said, John, meet Alan. Alan, John, I think John's been doing an impersonation of you. And he was so charming. He said, no, keep on doing it. I think, of all the people, he was very complimentary.
Fabulous.
He was very complimentary. He said, of all the people who do me, I think you get the news.
Brilliant, Jon. That everyone seems to do an impersonation of Parker and Penelope, and I just wondered how well your Parker is. Could we have a little tryout?
That's one of those that I did in my childhood as I watched the program. I watched Thunderbirds. You know, he's so distinctive. You know, there he is down in that sort of way.
Yes.
That kind of.
And Parker, take off my
Yes,
earring.
lady.
And Parker,
Yes, lady.
please, Parker, take off my dress.
Yes, my lady.
No. Spot on, Parker. And take off, Parker, take off my underwear. Thank you.
This is
And
a
please
lifetime show.
never wear my outfit again.
Jon, I wanted to say to you, I saw the documentary again the other day with Bob Monkhouse, and you were in the audience with Mike Yarwood. And it really, I found it so emotional because we all loved Mike Yarwood. And what a great interview that was, with you all sitting there.
It was staggering. This was back in 2003. It was
Yeah.
in a place called the Lowdown at the Albany, the sort of a performance area in the basement of a pub on Great Portland Street.
Yeah.
Bob wanted to do a gig that felt like some of his early stand-up gigs, where he could simply just stand there and enthrall everyone and delight everyone with his skill as a comedian, as a stand-up. And he was just so brilliant. Every gag just landed perfectly. He was so charming. He was so likable. And to be in his presence in that situation, such an intimate gig, was incredible. It was such a profound feeling. And none of us knew that Mike Yarwood was going to Wonderbirds. That was all a big, big surprise. And when Mike came to the stage, well, for me, it was just like an absolute, it was just a dream. And
because
my hero.
My father, as you know, Jon, was the forerunner of all of these impressionists.
Yes, he was. And
And
in fact, I brought this.
Oh,
Yeah.
look.
I brought this.
Wow.
Hey, beautiful.
Lovely.
So yes, I brought that through.
Wow,
There
that's
we are.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Did you get to meet Mike afterwards?
I did.
Right.
Mike is actually a really good friend.
Oh, right, good.
And about once every 3 or 4 months or so, we're looking forward to when we can do this again.
Yeah.
We meet up near his home. Very often Barry Cryer comes along as
Of
well.
course.
And we'll have a curry. We'll have a lunchtime curry. And
Brilliant.
although Mike is
Fabulous.
retired now, and he sticks with that. He always says he wouldn't want to be on the periphery of the business. You know, he's retired and he sticks with that.
Of course.
But he loves talking about the old days. He loves talking
you can
about.
see that, yeah.
And he'll hop into some of those familiar characters, Steptoe, Ronnie Corbett,
Oh,
Hancock.
I
all
know,
of that.
Harold Wilson. And when he did Harold Wilson, I thought, oh my God, that took me right back.
My
But
father,
talking about you and your MPs, how do you find today? Because these MPs we've got are so boring and so dreadful. Matt Hancock, there can't be anything that you can pick up from Matt Hancock. Tell me there is, because I can't see it.
Yes, he's a bit like an action figure who came to life. He's rather like a politician who won the job through a competition on Blue Peter.
Yes.
He's, you know, I suppose he's trying to work with immensely challenging circumstances. He can be a bit glib sometimes, which doesn't help.
No.
There's moments when he's, you know, there was a moment when he was speaking to somebody who was a doctor, a frontline worker, and he said, "Now, what's your tone? What's your tone?"
That's right.
Yes, he did. What's your tone?
It's occur to someone.
What about Boris, though? I mean, Boris must be the big one for you now.
I think with Boris, all the other politicians are so bland, mostly, that Boris has all of the idiosyncrasy and he has all of the bluster and character. And I think he does hide behind that a lot of the time. He hides behind this comic, clownish buffoonery to try and ward off some of the difficult questions.
Jon, you said you've done this since you were a child. So what are the first things? Is it the sound? Is it the rhythm? What is it that hooks you first into all these amazing characters?
you never quite notice what it will be about a certain particular character that you'll notice first. Sometimes it might be a certain catchphrase, or it might be a certain kind of body language. One of the early characters I used to practice was Frank Bruno, still do Frank. And the first thing you do with Frank, for instance, is, your shoulders go up like that, you sort of go into that kind of, that kind of mode. Tony Blair, much more staccato. You pinch your fingers together and speak one word at a time. 2, 4. There is viewing. Simon Cowell is an interesting one. The first thing you notice with Cowell is a bit of body language and a word at the same time. Okay. I'm going to stop you. I think we've probably found a star here. I think that was probably the finest performance I have ever witnessed.
Fantastic! Oh my God!
And what about
Mr. Trump, John?
Trump, yes, Donald Trump.
Mr. Trump, the gift that keeps on taking. Look, I think what you have to do with him, of course, you have the pinched fingers, you have the petulance. That's a very good question. That's very bad. That is fake news. I was not even there. I don't get it. And he,
oh my God, that's wonderful.
Wow.
John, I know you're doing some stuff for Big Finish at the moment, some Doctor Who stuff. Do you want to tell us about that?
Oh, yes. This is something that I really enjoy doing these days, where it's, I still love doing comedy sketches, but to do some drama, to do something over an entire narrative, like Michael Sheen does. This is the sort of area I'm at next. And I love working with Big Finish, the audio Doctor Who's. And although, yes, I played Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart, that great friend of the Doctor, from the United Nations Intelligence Task Force, a wonderful formality. That with very much loved character in the canon of Doctor Who, wonderfully brought to life by the late Nicholas Courtney, the wonderful, much loved Nicholas Courtney. So it's a great honour to pay a homage to the character that he created.
Wow.
So yeah, love Big Finish.
What about they're bringing Spitting Image back, aren't they, John?
Yes. I think it's going to be a sort of an American, and it's going to be quite worldwide.
Yes, it is. Yeah,
that's wonderful.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the world needs it, and I know it was important. Whether it is I suppose they'll have to pause it for a short time until we get back up and running again. But it's very good that it's still around and coming back. Yeah,
I think it's fantastic. You'll be doing it, obviously.
I'm not sure. I don't think so. I think the present run of it, I think, probably belongs to others. There's a wonderful generation of young impersonators coming through now. You think of Josh Berry, Jess Robinson, Steph Todd, Naomi MacDonald, Jess Robinson, Luke Kempner, and Spitting Image in the 80s was the home for new impressionists to come through.
Yeah, true.
And I think it will probably be like that, as it should be.
Yeah.
But yes, it was my first job back in 1994.
Yeah.
So to nip back in, do a few.
I love the fact that our culture, it's a very British thing to do that, as I said, through history, is to reflect back the bollocks that we see most of the time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And John, what do you have a favourite character of all time that you've enjoyed?
I always look back to the earlier ones. Patrick Moore, the astronomer. Now they're the most eccentric character. Well, I think it's very, very wonderfully eccentric. Les Dawson. I love doing Les Dawson. It brings a very a lovely warm glow. Les Dawson. When I was a boy, we were so poor, my trousers were so thin. If I sat on a coin, I could tell if it was heads or tails.
Oh, I love it. I have to ask you, do you do Piers Morgan, John?
Okay, let me just pull that point to you again. No, I'm not interrupting. It's a very good point. Let me just put that to you again. Okay, so we have this point that I'm just saying, and I'm really happy to do. And you'll know, is it yes or no? Yes or no? Yes or no? Is my profile going up? Good, I'll keep on. Yes or no? Okay, okay. Well, let's call the interview off.
So right, you're so right.
We have worked you very hard this morning, Mr. Culshaw. I think you've done a fantastic. We've worked you very hard today, John. I think it's just gone on, and it's been just fantastic to see you. Visionary.
Amazing.
You're such a visionary and so fantastic. I'm so honoured to be your friend, Mr. Culshaw.
Oh, the honour is all mine, Debbie. The honour is all mine.
Oh. Well, we'd love you to come back at some point, John, when you're doing other things, if that's okay.
I would adore that. I'm
good.
looking forward to
and
that.
I shall see you in Ormskirk or somewhere around. I'm sure when this is all over and we're all living, well, near normal lives again. One day.
Yes.
We can have a cuddle. We can have a physical. We need a physical, John.
No, it's digital's all right, but you need to do it properly.
You need a bit of a card, yeah, you do. Thank you so much, John, for coming on.
Thank you.
We've loved every so
so
we've
much.
talked to you forever.
Thank you.
Thank you
so much. It's been an absolute joy, and I'm looking forward to hanging out with you guys again.
Yeah.
Oh, in the nest.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Oh,
You could listen to him forever, couldn't you? I mean,
diversity
he's so talented.
Wonderful guy. Loved him.
But you know what? My father was an impressionist. I don't know if you saw that John held up the thing with my dad.
Of course.
Yes, of course we did.
But my father was the forerunner of him and Yarwood. And my father was the first impressionist to top the bill at the London Palladium.
Wow.
And everybody learnt from my dad. Unfortunately, he died when he was only 32.
Yeah.
So, but he is, you know, with all of his old records and everything, which John has got a lot of. That's my connection with John from the minute I met him. With the fact that, and Mike Yarwood Mike Yarwood always said that Eddie Arnold was his inspiration. So,
how lovely.
So that's from me.
What a lovely salute. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Good. Fabulous.
Very, very proud of him. Very proud of all the impressionists, actually. It's in my blood.
They bring us such joy. They bring us such joy.
Yeah, he does want to act as well. He should be acting and stuff. Impressionists are really good actors. So let's hope we can find something for him. Perhaps Wonderbirds Productions can find a project for Mr. Culshaw. Who knows?
Yes,
that'd be good.
Harry, get writing.
Yeah.
Yes. So Wednesday, what's on Wednesday, girls?
Oh, what's on Wednesday is Dr. Tracy Mountford is coming in. Dr. Tracy Mountford is a top cosmetologist. I think she is. That doesn't mean somebody who goes out in space, does it? Anyway, she deals with your face. She deals with your face and making your face look gorgeous. And we're going to be asking her lots of questions on beauty. We will also be looking into our makeup bags. What have we got?
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So it's another makeup show on Wednesday. We think that we love talking about makeup and things that we're doing with our hair and makeup. So while we are still sort of lockdown-ish and can't go to our hairdressers or go to our beauty people, we have to make do on our own.
Yeah.
Can I just say something? I saw two friends came cycling by my house yesterday, and I haven't seen people in real life only like this for so long. It literally brought a tear to my eye, and I realised how much I miss the reality of people. Not that this isn't wonderful, but that really struck a chord. I don't know how you guys feel.
Yeah.
I saw Keely and Rosie and Molly yesterday, and we went for a little walk, you know, roundabouts and things. And it really does help your mental state. Just I mean, I couldn't hug them and I couldn't hold the baby, but it
just seeing them in real life.
Yeah, it softens your mental state, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And then you don't need to have a drink, and you don't need to have a chocolate eclair, you know,
or both.
It feeds your body, doesn't it?
And your mind. And did you hear actually on the news that actually they said that psychiatrists and psychologists are going to be inundated after this because of all the sort of issues that this lockdown is bringing up?
Yeah. And also, it'll be the going out, you see. It'll be okay, you can all go back to normal now. And you go, oh, I don't know, what is that?
Because we've all changed, haven't we, in this time? We've all become aware of what matters, different.
Yeah, and it'll be a new normal, won't it? It'll be a new, we have to learn again. But we'll
it'll be wonderful.
Together and have a cheers for what we've all been through.
Yeah.
Anyway,
think
girls,
we-
we shall see you on Wednesday.
Bye.